those snaps and that radiation has been creating mutants this whole time.
Ooh. Her reality resetting powers are going to reset reality in a way where mutants will now be amongst us.
The mutants already exist. It's being covered up.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Filup Molina. This is Rogue Theory.
Yay!
It's that show. Guys, it's the new year, and we made it, which was not a given.
It was not a given.
It's time for us all, in fact, to just adapt and evolve and mutate because we're talking about mutants in the MCU. Eric's trying to do that thing with the beasts out.
I used to try to think if I could will myself to Animorph, I could be an Animorph.
I'm not going down this Animorph path again with you.
We'll go back down it.
Every
Happy
single
New
freaking
Year.
time.
2020, the year of Jake, Marco, Tobias, Cassie.
Marina Mastros is here. Yeah. Zach Huddleston, off-screen producer.
Off-screen Zach.
Yeah. And then Eric, if it's about Animorphs, we're not talking about
Applegate,
it. Okay, moving
Acolytes.
on this episode, we're also going to be predicting the successes and failures of the 2020 box office.
Yes.
But first, it's the most lingering mystery of the post-Disney Fox acquisition. How are they going to introduce the mutants, and maybe even specifically a little team known as the X-Men, into a shared universe in the MCU? We know it's on Kevin Feige's to-do list. We've seen it. We stole it. We lost a lot of good people trying to get that. But for sometime after Phase 4, along with also he has to introduce, by the way, the Fantastic Four, just throwing that out there too, and he's also going to create world peace. Pitch me though, just sticking on the mutants thing here. How are they going to do it? How are they going to introduce the mutants into the MCU? Erik Voss.
Okay, I think they're going to use the House of M storyline from the Marvel Comics, but they're going to have to invert it. Obviously, for anyone who knows House of M.
House of W.
House of the just to explain what the House of M is, it takes place after the Avengers Disassembled comics, where it centers around Scarlet Witch. It's kind of like her big storyline, and Scarlet Witch in the MCU hasn't really gotten her due. Her powers have been vaguely defined, and she's left in kind of this like broken state at the end of Endgame, where she's lost pretty much everyone she's loved.
Yeah.
So are you.
Yep, I feel her pain. So in the comics, what happens, House of M opens with like reality switching on a dime, and things, it's so chaotic, and the Avengers and the X-Men, everyone kind of has a council, and they decide that they have to kill Scarlet Witch
because she's
Wanda
causing
Maximoff, because she's the one who's causing it. She's having like a nervous breakdown.
She's Elsa.
Kinda, yeah. She's too powerful.
Real quick, they stupidly let her brother be part of that
Yeah,
conversation.
Peter Maximoff,
wow.
Quicksilver, who's like, yeah, bye, and he runs away, and he runs to their father Magneto, and it's like, please help us. We don't know what happens at that moment, but reality flips, and suddenly we're in a reality called the House of M, in which it's M for Magus, for Magneto. It's his society where mutants are now at the top of society. It's kind of like a reverse society, and it's not just mutants, any kind of super powered individuals. So like Spider-Man, he's not a mutant, but he's like also a celebrity in this society. And one by one, Wolverine kind of has to go through and like reawaken everyone and remind them that this reality's false. And then it ends with like a big fight, as all these things do. And then in this fight, Scarlet Witch, who has 2 kids,
in this reality,
her kids die again, and that's part of what was going on before. She kept trying to fabricate these kids. It ends with her saying no more mutants, and then reality resets again, and then we restore reality, and it's fixed this way where all the mutants are gone, with the exception of like 1,000 that we care about.
The good ones.
But the whole idea is that like this reality is now reset with mutants, and like thousands and potentially millions of people who did have mutant abilities no longer have them. So it's like this huge deal. I think a reverse is going to happen because we know WandaVision is coming out, and we don't know too much about the plot, but it seems kind of bonkers. Like it's taking place in what seems like a dream world, old school Mary Tyler Moore sitcom reality.
False reality.
Yeah, that's kind of borrowing the Vision comic series where it's like the nuclear atomic family. So we're gonna see that, but that reality is gonna be a false one, and it's gonna be about Scarlet Witch's mental breakdown as she is trying to decide what kind of reality we need. And she, as a mutant, even though we haven't used the M word before, now that Disney owns Fox, they can now say the M word. She's going to basically, in her mental state, wish for more people to complete her family.
So she's gonna put a comma in it. No,
more
mutants.
Yes. So that's how WandaVision's going to end. Maybe setting up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and reality's going to be switching around like crazy at that stage in Phase 4. And on the other side of it, we're going to have a reality where mutants exist.
Wanda Maximoff is the grandmama of all mutant kind.
Yes. Her reality resetting powers are going to reset reality in a way where mutants will now be amongst us.
Here's your follow-up. Are they now mutants from here forward, or does she like set a reality where mutants have existed, i.e. is Magneto a Holocaust survivor still?
Yeah, I think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to rewrite or retcon too many of their backstories because they're too interesting. It's too, like him being a survivor of Auschwitz is such an important part of his character in the same way that each of the X-Men and the mutant characters have like specific backstories that I don't think we'll want to change too much. But yeah, we're going to be in a reality where they have just always existed and they've always they had part of that history. So it's not like they're going to have to rewrite the history. We're just going to be in a reality now where it's like they were there the whole time. Like Disney always had the rights to the
So it's not that like Scott Summers just wakes up the day after she says that and now he's Cyclops. He was always Cyclops. He could always shoot lasers out of his eyes, but just we never saw him.
We weren't watching that reality.
Yeah, and it's going to be from her point of view. So it's not like we're ever going to see him before that. He's just going to show up like with an optic blast and be like,
Eric,
hey, you were always here.
That's a Silver Rogie.
All right, I'll take
Because
it.
that is a great storyline to bring Scarlet Witch to the forefront. And it has reality-altering effects on it, and it could address why we didn't know who these people were, but they have the same backstories. But I have one question for you.
And you can lose that Silver Rogie based on this question.
Okay.
Because it all kind of hinges on this. What is the simple desire that Scarlet Witch has in this moment that makes her say, let's make mutants? Like, just simply put, what is she trying to do? Why does she say that?
Well, I like to think that she just wants some friends. Or she wants a family.
She has no
But
one.
To keep this, I'll give you another option. What if it comes from a place of she wants to better protect Earth, and she believes we need other superpowered individuals other than our Iron Mans or our Black Panthers or Doctor Stranges. Let's have superhumans 1 out of every 10 people.
The irony, she'll also be creating the bad mutants.
Right, but she doesn't know that. She doesn't think things through. She's not the ancient one. She's a dum-dum.
These people are inherently good.
Yeah. But maybe she thinks at the end of the day, whether you're on the Mutant Brotherhood or the X-Men, if an external threat comes to attack, whether it's from another dimension or whether it's from Thanos, you're going to want to protect your turf. Although Mordo wasn't there in that final battle. Where the hell was he?
Ooh.
Son of a bitch.
He's as strongly hated Mordo as much as he's loved Animorphs. It's the two things everybody knows about
Mordo and Animorphs.
Eric's pendulum swings back and forth.
Eric, you keep that Silver Rogie.
All right, great.
Nice work, buddy.
Zach?
Okay. Thank you for finally pronouncing my name properly. So I think, just thinking more like what we already know about the MCU, right? We know about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, who are traditionally mutants. They haven't called them that in the MCU, but how did they get their powers? Well, it was they used one of the
Mind Stone.
They used the Mind Stone, kind of like experimentation, shadowy government organization, right? It was Hydra, right? So I think they're actually going to keep that trend going, and it's going to be not necessarily always government experimentation, but it is a government cover-up. Or government-esque agencies like your SHIELD, your Hydra, your other groups that we haven't even met yet, the 5 Rings, whatever, right?
10 Rings.
10 Rings.
Yeah.
No, 5 Rings is their junior department. 10 Rings, a Mandarin criminal organization. But I think the mutants already exist. It's being covered up. Maybe they're being held in
That's cool.
in secret facilities.
Yeah.
Maybe they, somehow they're hiding their existence. Maybe not all of them exist yet, but they're out there. They're more like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And
Like the Weapon X program.
Like the Weapon X program. Maybe they're all in Canada. That actually might be the real answer.
Yeah, Alpha
Flight.
Yeah.
Why we don't care about them in America?
Yes, the Canadian government is actually the most shadowy organization of them all.
Well, and there's that theory that's what Project Exodus was this government cover-up of mutants that exist among us.
And you've done videos about Project Exodus. This is this little kind of Easter egg they keep dropping into multiple films. They just mention it. They never really explain what it is, right? And maybe we don't know. Maybe it's some kind of, the U.S. government working with the SHIELD, working with maybe more nefarious group, something like that. Because I think it's going to be hard to explain how so many of these characters come out of nowhere. And we also we don't want to start like Muppet Babies style with like a 4-year-old Rogue and a 2-year-old Cyclops, and
I mean,
we
that would
don't
be
want
cute, but
that?
no.
okay, we kind of do want it.
Yeah.
I mean, Baby Yoda has proven.
Yeah.
Mutant babies.
But like, I think this is a nice way to at least give us a batch of them.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could have like a secret, facility and like, oh, look, it's Storm and Nightcrawler and Colossus and like all our favorites. They're already here. They can dump them on us real quick.
They're all babies.
They're all babies.
A Zatch's batch.
Hashtag.
Zatch batch.
You're such a batch. Okay, so it's the government has been doing it, and I'm gonna guess. Well, or I'll ask, how many mutants are you imagining come out of this?
Well, I think smartly, like Marvel's always done a great job of never giving us more than a couple new characters in anything, right? Like in most of the films we get like, Black Widow's in this Iron Man movie and like 1 or 2 new villains, and that's it. We're not going to rush you with too many.
Yeah.
So like, I think maybe we get that original tiny lineup of X-Men, maybe
Like
at
the
first.
old school one.
Yeah, like the furless beast and the feathered angel
Right.
and all of that, right? And they just give us like a couple.
That's your wrestling name, right?
Furred angel. Yeah, feathered
Furless
angel.
Beast, and then you became Feathered Angel.
Batch Bros.
Yeah.
It's a deep cut.
Great. You get one traditional colored
Hey,
Well
that's,
Yeah.
that's probably a stretch. Yeah, thank you.
No, but I do like. I actually think that is very likely that some characters are going to have some sort of tie to the way that they already brought the 2 quasi mutants that they have. It just doesn't address how they'll bring in a whole bunch. Unless everybody has a secret mutant in a cage somewhere. But they could. Marina, is that your theory?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No,
Everybody
it's
has their secret mutant.
Everybody has their secret. Yeah, in a basement. No, mine is different. Mine has to do with science.
Ooh.
Science. So mine is that. Remember when Rocket is talking about how they find Thanos on the other planet, his retirement home planet, and he says when he snapped the stones to destroy them, a big radiation wave, like
Gamma radiation.
Yeah, gamma radiation specifically, which is important for science. Radiated, went out across the galaxy, and it was like the biggest, wave that
Since the other snap.
right? And so. But that took place on another planet. Now, there are 3 other snaps, and they all took place on Earth. That's a lot.
Big dose of gamma.
That's a lot of.
That's like if you ever wonder, what if the window breaks on my microwave?
And
I'm gonna keep microwaving. I'm gonna
3 times.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep making my food.
Yeah.
I can't not do it. I'm also not gonna buy a new microwave.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna microwave this burrito and see what happens. Wrap it in foil, put foil across the door, and then try it again. But that's a lot of gamma radiation, right? And it's taken place over the course of time. So I think that those snaps and that radiation has been creating mutants this whole time.
Ooh, I like it.
Okay, and so we just didn't know that they were already there, but they've been created, and they're just kind of discovering their own stuff. And I think what the first snap gave people minimal powers, and then the second snap gave people
Maximal powers.
Yeah, and it's like exponential whatever.
It's
Yeah.
like
Parabola.
Logarithmic.
Yeah, it's logarithmic.
Ross trying to get a tan on Friends. He just keeps getting sprayed again.
That's right. He got sprayed 4 times. Imagine those
exactly.
gamma
4
radiation.
times.
Yeah, exactly.
He became Beast.
So by the time they're discoverable, it's because their powers have grown so much that they're not. You can't really hide them anymore. Like it's like this guy, Beast is blue. You know what I mean? Like
Marina, the gamma radiation tie-in got you a Rogie the
Oh,
moment you
big-
walked in the door
big rogue.
glowing.
science, baby.
But here's the question. Are you saying then that there were no mutants before the events of Infinity War, and thus there is no backstory for any of these characters before Infinity War as mutants?
I am saying it.
Nice.
Because I'm going opposite.
Okay.
Like, this is what did it. No one was a mutant before that. Now they have their powers, and they've exponentially grown, so all backstories are new, which gives them a clean slate, story-wise.
Opportunity.
Yeah, and you can hit some of the same themes
Yeah.
that the mutants were borrowing off the civil rights movement in the '60s.
Or
and-
and it could be off of an immigrant
Yeah.
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
But it's fine. Rewrite Magneto's backstory. So he's
Yeah.
not a Holocaust survivor. What is he?
A refugee, Syrian
Yeah.
Maybe a
Syrian
maybe,
refugees.
maybe a Stonewall issue. He could be. That was the the big gay rights movement kickoff in like the 60s, right? Like something like that, right? Where you had kind of a similar repression. Maybe
Is that
for a
Marsha P.
different
Harden?
reason. What's that?
Marsha P. Harden for the lady who threw the brick.
Marsha Harden was the
Voice.
Simpson trial, I believe, as well.
Marsha Clark? Marsha Gay Harden is another actress.
James Harden, NBA
I'm
basketball
combining a
player.
lot of stuff, but it would be great if Magneto were actually. There's a trans black woman who was the lady who threw the brick to start Stonewall, and it would be great if that's Magneto. Like, what if that was
I thought
her?
you'd say like she threw the brick at Magneto and he was like, magnetism.
And
he
all of
just
a sudden-
happened to be
and that's why
standing
he's
there.
a bad guy.
Well, I also want to know. So if these
I got
events,
bricked.
Yeah. That's all it takes, really.
we've all heard that lingo. Also, so these 4 events cause mutants. Are there going to be future mutants if there's no future snaps?
On other planets that were closer to the planet that Thanos snapped on, right? Because these were all on Earth. I mean, like, that's a lot, but they're too far away from other planets.
And also, they don't have to have necessarily been there for the snap. One, you can imagine back to just like, is a woman pregnant right now and there's a snap?
Exactly.
Or is she heating up a burrito on our microwave? that baby's coming out wrong.
Yeah.
But also,
or double right.
every man, every woman, their gonads are very susceptible to the changes of
That's
this microwave.
true.
That's why you don't wear briefs.
Yeah. That's why I don't
or
wear
anything.
briefs. Yeah, or why I don't wear anything. No.
Don't look
Under the
interested.
table, none of us have pants.
But glowing green
Yeah.
down here. So they are forever. I mean,
Yeah.
essentially, you kickstarted evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Science.
Congrats.
Well done, Maria.
Yeah.
Science really
great.
is just mutation. It's just reproduction. Every time something reproduces, it does mutate. Literally every single time. And that's real science.
That's the entirety of science.
Evolution is just mutations over millennia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, great way to put it, Eric. And from your voice, I believe it to be true. When Marina says it.
I was too enthusiastic.
Yeah. No, guys, give it back to me in a tweet.
Okay.
Mutants will join Marvel Phase 4 from a House of M, where Scarlet Witch says, "Give me mutants, please."
I need friendship.
We're friends.
Mutants. They've always been here. They've just been shielded.
Gotcha. And you almost are directly ripping off the Inhuman storyline on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's not canon to me. I don't know.
It kind
Who
of
watched
it's not
Agents of
canon
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
to Kevin Feige, so that counts.
Snap radiation causes mutants ×3, plus everyone's gonads are green.
That's a good
Pranked.
Pranked. Yeah. Hashtag
Cool.
pranked.
I'm gonna give you a little bonus one
Yay!
because I'm super into the science idea.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And it's real.
Zach, where are you going?
To poop?
All right, well, so you can go do that. Why don't we go take a break to thank some people?
Hey guys, I'm back in the Blue Dungeon to thank the sponsor of this video, Bang Energy. Every can of Bang is 16 ounces, baby. That's right, no wimpy 12-ounce cans here. It contains 300 milligrams of caffeine, it's sugar-free, and has 0 calories, yet it tastes great with 20 different flavors to choose from. One of those great flavors is this, Blue Raz. Razzed! The Raz stands for raspberry, it turns out. Look, there were mornings when I was up the night before writing like a full movie breakdown that's like 80 minutes long, and I'm just crawling on the floor. But a can of Bang Energy helps pick me up. Seeing nothing but blue screen. It can be 2 hours of a blue screen video. Check out Bang on Instagram. You can get 25% off your order at bang-energy.com when you use the code NewRockstars25. There, you can get a variety 12-pack with a dozen of their flavors. Flavors like pina colada, cotton candy, rainbow unicorn. What is a rainbow unicorn, you ask? I don't know, but I'm sure it tastes great. Thanks again to Bang Energy for sponsoring this video, and get 25% off at bangenergy.com using the code NewRockstars25. And follow the inventor of Bang on Instagram at bangenergy.ceo.
Guys, it's the beginning of a new year, and we have a lot of movies to look forward to. It's 2020. It's the year we've all been waiting for futuristic movies. But this was also after 2019, where there were a bunch of movies that surprisingly let us down. Terminator Dark Fate. You love Terminator Dark Fate.
I
It
loved
was
it.
good.
But it bombed.
Not in my heart.
Yeah, that's true. Atomic bombed. That whole thing. So now we're trying to get ahead of this feeling a little bit of like, let's lower our expectations a little bit or raise them for some other movies. So pitch me on what you think will be the surprise nerd hit of 2020 and the surprise nerd failure of 2020. And let's keep it to movies and not personal insults.
Okay, I think the surprise nerd hit is going to be Ghostbusters, the Jason Reitman film coming out this summer. When this was announced, it was kind of controversial because like people were wondering, well, is he pretending like the 2016 all-female one didn't count? And some people were like, great, yeah, pretend like that didn't count because they didn't like it. But other people were like, well, this is problematic in other ways.
Yeah.
So there's just like a lot of like negative buzz around it. I think this movie's going to be great. I think it's going to be like nerds are going to celebrate this film. I think people are going to be like, oh, this doesn't, whatever associations I have with the Ghostbusters franchise, I'm detached from. It's going to have like a Stranger Things feel to it because I believe Finn Wolfhard is going to be in it.
Yes.
He's in everything. So
Yeah, I think it's in. I think Jason Reitman's a fine filmmaker. I think it's going to be what Stranger Things was and take us by surprise.
did he write Up in the Air or no or something?
I believe he wrote and directed Up in the Air and Thank You for Smoking, and
Right,
he
which were great
directed
films.
Juno, or he directed Juno
Yes.
from Diablo Cody's script.
Right.
Yeah.
So great films actually.
And he does like a good job with like smaller stories, and it seems like this is going to be a smaller story. Ghostbusters. It's about like a small town family.
Right.
Like it could have like a very Stranger Things kind
So
of.
no
feel.
Very
Stay Puft
cool.
giant march down.
Yeah.
I think there are some movies that are going to be hits. I think Black Widow is going to be a hit, and there's no surprise there.
What's our failure?
Okay, speaking of Marvel, I think Eternals is going to be Marvel's first bomb.
Eric.
Because it has a Latino lead.
I may
Eric,
be wrong.
wow,
I may be wrong. I
Eric.
think the cast is too large.
I should sit on that side of the table just for right now.
I think the story is too big in scope. And I think just the property of the Eternals, I'm just not excited about now. I've been proven wrong.
Guardians.
Yeah, right. Guardians is a good example. I didn't read the Guardians comics until James Gunn made that movie. It wowed me. It charmed me. It's one of my favorite Marvel films. I'm hoping it could be that. But Guardians was a pretty simple, small ensemble film.
Yeah.
Maybe Eternals, but when like Feige brought out star after star after star at Comic-Con and at D23, I was like, I just don't get a sense of what this story is. I'm not excited by just seeing a bunch of actors
biting off more than you can
like,
chew, maybe.
Yeah.
It's also like a dense backstory,
Yeah.
right? Like Guardians is like, oh, we don't know these characters necessarily, not like we would a Spider-Man or an X-Men or something like that, but like, oh, we get it. It's they're putting a gang of ragtag criminals
It's
together.
Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen, right? Wild Bunch, all these stories. Whereas this is like a bunch of gods like,
Yeah.
that we don't know anything about. It is a lot.
And I think maybe some people out there love the Eternals comics. Really, they were created as like Marvel's version of the New Gods at DC. And the New Gods at DC are actually fairly interesting thematic stories. And it was really just like so Marvel could have their version of that. But you could say that for a lot of the Marvel characters.
The franchise, or both of the companies have done that.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I'm not excited about the comic lore. Now, granted, a year from now, we may be sitting in what we got wrong. And I'm like, okay, remember when I said Eternals suck? It's going to suck.
Now
but
I have to eat my hat.
But I also say, what will be the biggest surprise bomb? Because I think people expect it's
yeah,
Marvel.
yeah.
You can guarantee
That's true.
a certain level of standard. I think I will be surprised if it bombs.
Yeah.
I'll say
That's true. That's a very good point.
Do we have a creative team behind it?
Yeah, Chloe Zhao is directing. They have two screenwriters. It's Kevin Feige's touching it, so it's gonna be good.
And it's his classic idea of going to people who haven't proven themselves in something giant before, but that probably
worked
isn't
for
gonna,
them.
But it probably isn't going to pay off every single time, right?
Yeah.
We know Josh Trank is an example of that, right?
Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever.
And man, Marvel, because of their success, but they've put themselves in a tough position.
Yeah.
If a movie doesn't make $1 billion,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
now a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that used to be like maybe one movie a decade would come close to that, and now they're trying to put out 2 movies a year, and all of them have to like that's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure.
All right, you hairless beast. What is your?
Wait till I get shirtless later, and you'll know the truth behind that. I think the secret hit, or the movie that's going to exceed our expectations, and this is because our expectations are low, is Venom 2.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
like,
our expectations
I mean,
are very low. for
Very
that.
low. Venom, which was considered kind of a commercial success. It surprised
Yeah.
people how well it did.
worldwide.
Worldwide,
worldwide.
especially.
Internationally.
And like, I think most of the people here are not like passionate about it, but like, that was, at best, they're like, that was fine. It's actually
being
pretty
kind.
It's actually a pretty bad movie. I think there's a lot of things that don't work in that movie, but I think like I think they're going to figure it out.
Well, and I think Tom Hardy works.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
For
think,
sure.
I think he works in most things, honestly, he does. And there are elements definitely that I think they got right. I actually didn't hate that movie. I think it has one of the worst time jump plot holes I've ever seen. We did a whole video about it. But
And I think like the things that didn't work about that are like relatively easy to fix. And I think Kevin Feige's continued investment kind of or connection to the Sony Spider universe is going to help. I think like even just a little bit of oversight from him can correct some of the issues. Like some of it is just like some character stuff, some dialogue stuff, some of the CGI, like that's producer stuff, right? Like we know Tom Hardy's a great actor and the Venom storylines are good storylines.
See, you know what one of the issues was though, was the attempt at humor in it kind of felt really weird when it's this cannibal character and he seems like his threat is very visceral and intense, and yet he kind of is also making jokes and making fun of him. But honestly, Thor Ragnarok was a complete rewrite of a character that made him very loved. People love the Thor character now, and they didn't after 2 movies.
And I think we're going to do the opposite of what they're doing with Thor. I think Venom 2 is going to be much darker than Venom 1.
Now, does that mean that you think it's not going to share a universe with Spider-Man?
I think it can, but because we assume Carnage is going to be the bad guy. Carnage is a super dark, like a mass murderer character, right? And I think, frankly, Tom Hardy's a really good actor. I don't know if he's good at comedy, but we know he's good at drama, right? All the Nolan movies he's done and everything. And, I think let him be darker, right? Let this, I know that'll cost them some popularity amongst kids and stuff like that, but I think that's what that character needs. It needs to be noticeably darker than Spider-Man movies.
Okay, that's a big surprise if they do that.
Yes.
So, what are you gonna do if you get it wrong?
I will eat Eric's head.
Okay, I agree with that.
Turn the wind.
Yeah. Look at Eric turn the wind.
And then
What's gonna fail?
I think the movie that's gonna not meet our expectations, and this is still a little ways out. I don't think a lot of buzz is built around this movie, but some people are really looking forward to the Dune movie.
Ooh.
Oh, sure.
Which is
but no, there's
Sorry,
some
other people
some
are
people-
a lot
nuts
of
because
folks are
Dune
very
is this
excited.
property that for 40 years now it feels like people
Yes.
have been waiting for it to be nailed. I just don't have any faith.
Well, and Denis Villeneuve, I can never pronounce his
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, I'm not good at pronouncing any name, but especially his. He did the Blade Runner 2049. He's done
Amazing.
great work.
People
He's
did not show up.
No, and he's a good director, but man, this is a tall task. It was people said you could never make a movie about Lord of the Rings, and Peter Jackson surprised us and made it. But I don't know if you can make a good movie about Dune. I have a place in my heart for the
me too.
for the David Lynch 80s
it's
one with
great.
Kyle MacLachlan and
So
Patrick
good.
Stewart, but probably doesn't stand up as cinema
Yeah,
necessarily.
it's a fun
and,
romp.
It was kind of famously a bomb then too, and I think it's there's something about desert planets. It's John Carter from Mars, and Dune. I don't know. They
Chronicles
just
of
don't work.
Riddick or something.
Yeah.
There's something about that. I want it to succeed, but I don't think Dune's going to be good.
Yeah, I don't even honestly want to spend much of the episode on it because I don't want to bet. I don't want to bet on people caring enough about it. That feels like an insult to you, and it is not.
Thank you.
Fuck you, Zach.
Thank you.
I am so genuinely excited for Birds of Prey. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I think it's going to crush the box office because it has help from Joker, not necessarily. Suicide Squad was a commercial success. Everyone went to go see it. Personally, it was trash, but
Personal trash.
Personal trash, commercial success. But I don't think people are like, oh, Suicide Squad was amazing, I'm going to go see Birds of Prey. But Joker is in the same universe, and people are just kind of going oh, I don't care. In my head now, Joaquin Phoenix is the Joker, and Birds of Prey is that. They just go like that, and we just pretend that the other Joker didn't happen, and nobody wrote damaged across their head. And it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It looks colorful. And this is the metaphor. I'm going to come with me here. There is a metaphor that I'm going to use, and it's going to be weird. Strip clubs for men are depressing and weird and uncomfortable. But have you ever been to a strip club for women? They are fun. They are a great time. Everybody's having a party.
Magic Mike.
They have literal costumes, and it's so great and fun. And this is kind of the same thing where it's like, oh, we tried to do, like, Suicide Squad was like strip club for men. It's like, oh, well, we tried. We know what it's supposed to be, but like it didn't turn out that great, and we're all just gonna kind of pretend. But we did spend a lot of money on it, right? Let's go upstairs to this dual club where up top it's a strip club for women, and it's bright and it's colorful. It's gonna be super fun, and it's all focused on female energy. And I'm just so ready to see it. It's gonna be great.
Man, like imagination went on a journey there. That's amazing.
First of all, strip clubs for women are the best.
I like when you say strip clubs for women, as in like women don't work at the other kind of strip club.
Well, yeah. Aimed at women's money,
Yes,
I should say.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the movie that's gonna tank is gonna be Sonic, and it's gonna be so sad.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't, because the whole internet made them change it, and then they're not gonna go see it. They're just gonna be happy that they changed it, and then they're gonna be like, see you on Netflix.
Well, they made them change the look of it, but the story still looks pretty stupid. Right? And that's why people give movies good word of mouth, is that the story catches. They don't care, like, oh, the character looks accurate to what I remember in the video game.
Yeah.
I'll go see this a second time. No, you got a good story.
This guy.
Yeah, this guy.
That'll be coming back throughout 2020.
No, please.
Well, you say no, and I hear yes more.
He's got racists to defend in the South in the 60s.
No. I think it's gonna be very funny when it tanks.
This is it hurts me so bad because people care, like especially that one. They were like, okay, we want to do right by you guys, fans.
Oh yeah, I guess
we're
that's
gonna
true.
we're gonna go back, we're gonna spend $5 million, we're gonna get it right, and it like still tanks. And,
I don't want the people who worked on the film to like make less money or be sad, but I still think it's gonna be funny when they
already been
change
paid.
the entire movie. And
It's
then
just
no
the
one
studio.
goes,
Those checks cleared.
all right,
Yeah.
give them to
Yeah,
me
that's
back
true.
in a tweet.
2020, look out, because we got a surprise hit from Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Jason Reitman, but not
gonna
the
fall?
Eternals. Don't
That
call them.
tweet just kind of.
They're in the
Was
ancient
poetry.
times. They don't have phones back then.
Venom, more like Venom, and Dune, ruined.
Like Stones? Oh, like ruined?
Like ruined, but
There's a
rude.
slant rhyme.
It's
really.
rude.
Yeah, it works for me.
Marina?
Birds of Prey takes off to the heavens, and Sonic runs it into the ground.
Yeah, these are going to be the variety headlines.
Yeah.
Eric, I'm giving you a Rogie
Ooh.
because to say that a Marvel movie is going to fail is a big risk.
Yeah,
It's a risk
true.
for me.
And I think
Yeah.
it's interesting. Marina, to say that a DC movie is going to be a hit is a big risk. So I'm
Zing.
giving you a Rogie.
Thank
and
you.
Zach, I feel bad about how much I wrote off Dune. But you get a quarter.
This one's for the spice.
Yeah, there we go.
Spice Life. All right. Guys, time for more questions.
Yeah.
Yay!
Boom. These are not them. These are them. Guys, you guys haven't seen these, but you're going to now hear them. M. Night Shyamalan has 3 movies coming out over the next 3 years. Wow. God, how?
Yeah, really.
What's the biggest twist he could still pull off?
Oh.
A good film.
I was gonna say
Right,
making
that's like
a
the
good
given,
movie.
Yeah. Taking that one off the table.
Or maybe the twist that there is no twist.
Yeah.
Well, he
It's
says
just
that
a
after every
straightforward
movie. He's
ending.
like, that wasn't actually a twist. It was something that you did not know was going to happen and then surprised you, but
Boo.
wasn't a twist. He says that
It's
every
more
time.
like a
It was
revelation.
The most
than a
interesting
twist.
thing to happen in the movie happens in the last 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
every 95 minutes ahead
What
of
if
that
it's that
sucks.
he's not in it?
Oh, that I
cameo.
like, right? Where he doesn't do a
I would love if he just does like a
Expanded.
straightforward Netflix style rom com. It's just like I gotta find a date to the prom.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like just that. And there's no twist, nothing scary, nothing
A
ominous.
prom-com?
That's great. Prom-com!
Hell yeah,
That's
dog.
great. Good job,
From
Garrett.
M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan.
All right, guys. Who in 2019 did we not give their due? Right? Who secretly actually won 2019 and nobody gave him that credit?
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you mean like all of all humans or characters?
Yeah, it can be like your aunt.
Okay, great.
I mean, she might win every year for me. Marissa Tomei.
Oh yeah.
She's like, I mean, she doesn't get a lot to do in the Spider-Man movies, but she's great.
Yeah.
And like,
She is great.
and also like, what's her skincare routine?
Yeah.
Because she looks
really?
incredible.
And also
She's
like those
great.
jeans.
Oh yeah, so good.
Both the GENES and JEANS, which is the one I actually meant.
Yeah.
No, I really did mean her jeans in that movie. Oof.
Yeah.
The rat from Endgame, right? He's the true
Saves
hero.
the
Saves
half
the
the
universe.
universe.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
It's Zazie Beetz because she
Ooh.
wasn't given enough in that film to do.
In Joker?
In Joker. She wasn't given enough to do, and she's amazing, and I wanted more. But with what she had, she worked well.
And we're getting more of her, right? Is she not, or was she Domino?
She was Domino in
She's already
Deadpool 2,
Domino.
right?
Yeah, she's great.
So
Yeah.
if you haven't watched Deadpool 2 yet, you're gonna get more.
Give us more of her. Give us more of
Yeah,
her.
and she's still working. You'll get more of her.
Yeah.
Somebody take Hirogi.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, sure.
No, you can have one. Now we're tied.
All right. Well, what's a good? This is our last Rogi question. What's a good New Year's resolution for an MCU character? So their character and their resolution they need to have.
I think like mine would be for Bucky, Winter Soldier, and just like a resolution of like, be more externally happy. You know what I mean? I don't want to
Yeah.
say smile because that's you're not supposed
You
to do
can
that to
tell
people
men to
anymore.
smile.
Okay,
It's
great.
fine.
You he's also like 100, right? You 100-year-old man, you could smile a
Smile
little bit
more.
more.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan with your glowering mug. So
Yeah.
I think that's his resolution. Smile more.
Peter Parker, learn to keep a couple secrets and stop telling your name to everyone.
Yeah.
Mum's the word.
That's very practical, right? Just stop
Yes.
telling everyone who you are.
Yes.
And also, the actor. You know what? Don't say what happens in the movies.
That's very funny. What's the name of the cat who is an alien?
Goose.
For Goose, find a home.
Oh, Goose the cat.
Goose the cat needs to find a home.
And
Permanent home.
I like that you're putting that on him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Animals get yourselves adopted.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
get yourselves adopted.
Applies to kids too.
Get a
orphans.
job. Perform a
Hey.
service.
Eric's made the most sense for it. So you get
Good
a Rogi.
job.
That's the last one. What are your point totals?
4.
2.25.
2.25.
4.
Wow.
4 Erics.
Eric gets
Whoa,
her
I'm
ass.
seeing double. 4 white guys. No, okay. So Eric's wish is everyone must talk like Palpatine.
Who?
Like
Papa?
Emperor
Like Papa?
Palpatine.
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 Yeah.
The rest of the episode.
to reference.
Yeah.
Remember when we all saw Rise of Skywalker?
Skywalker. That's it for this episode of Rogue Theory.
Goodbye.
Thanks for going Rogue. Thanks to our guests.
Find
Marina.
us. Find me on Twitter. My voice doesn't go that deep. Find me on Twitter at marinamastros.com.
Oh, I like the little spice of English accent.
He does.
Yes,
I'm
Ian McDiarmid.
vaguely British.
Yes.
Zach.
You should follow at New Rockstars.
Lightning.
I can feel you
Ooh.
pausing the video. Don't watch all the way to the end, and that will be according to my design.
That's a very good impression.
That's why I put it on the card.
And I'm Filup Molina.
That's the best one.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week. See you next time. Bye-bye.
That's a very good impression.